said, I'm Adrian Clark, owner of AC Sports Management. I'm right down the street from you guys. Actually, it's a long drive. It took me like 30 minutes to get here. This is my first time to Frisco. I've never been to Frisco before, so thank you guys for having me, but that was a long drive. Make sure I get gas money from you.
I got you. You need tolls too? I got you.
I need that also.
But he's from Dallas originally too. That's another thing of like the success stories of people coming out of Dallas. He's another one.
Born and raised in Dallas, but owner of AC Sports Management. Just a little background of my company. We specialize in contract negotiation, and nowadays I'm doing a lot more consulting and advising for professional athletes. So guys from NBA, NFL, MLB, boxing, of course, MMA. A lot of guys now are calling just to get help in regards to looking into their contracts, whether it be endorsement deals or the actual contracts with teams. Or a lot of guys are looking to switch agents. I'm no longer certified as an agent with the NBA, so I can kind of talk freely to guys, but a lot of guys now look to me for help as far as professionals go. Dabbling a little bit in college to where guys that are seniors that are getting ready to graduate, that are looking to continue their careers as pros, they're now looking to me to help them find agents, work with their families on the transition from being a collegiate athlete to a professional athlete. So my passion is professional athletes. Since I was a little boy, I had this infatuation with professional athletes, even though I was an athlete myself at one point, especially in college. But I never had the mindset that I wanted to be a pro athlete. I wanted to be on the backside and work with pro athletes. So when I was sitting in you guys' seats in high school, I knew kind of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work with professional athletes, but where I'm from, anybody familiar with Pleasant Grove?
South Dallas.
Pretty much. Yeah, like we didn't know what a sports agent was. Nobody talked about being a sports agent. The only thing we saw was professional athletes come to our schools and they'll show up one day, they'll talk to us, and then we'll never see them again besides on TV. So you guys have something really unique going on here to where they're bringing in people that are already in the profession that are pretty much giving you guys something that's valuable that a lot of kids don't get. So value this experience and value the programs that you guys are in, because you guys have a head start on a lot of individuals. But just back story about me, of course, coming from Pleasant Grove, as I said, we didn't get the great education and then the pinpoint outlook on what it is to be what you want to be eventually. What we're kind of taught, especially in the inner city, you have to be either a professional athlete to get out, or you have to be a rapper. One of the two. And luckily, having a dual parent household with my mom and my dad, and them really pushing me the college route, them pushing me to meet people, which now we call networking. I didn't know what networking was when I was you guys' age, just meeting people. But I took advantage of that. So I want to, after I tell you guys a little bit more about myself, I'm not going to talk long. I want to really open it up because it's a really small class for question and answer. But I want to give you guys one tip that I feel that's really essential in regards to networking. And then I want to give you guys a tip in regards to college, because you're going to need a lot of tips in regards to college, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. But growing up in Dallas, man, again, passion to work with professional athletes, passion to be in sports, just didn't know the direction of getting there. Doing a lot of research, doing a lot of reading, and then getting close to guys that I played basketball with, that were boxers, that were football players, became good friends with those guys to now they're professional athletes and they look to me for help. So in regards to networking, it starts now and it's with everybody, no matter if you're black, white, Mexican, it doesn't matter. A lot of my friends that honestly I thought I should be friends with at that point in time have grown to be some of the marquee athletes that you guys watch on TV today, that they look to me for help in regards to their contracts. So take everybody as an opportunity. I mean, today we'll all exchange information. I'll give you guys my email address. You guys can keep in contact with me. Take advantage of those opportunities, because you never know what can fester from them. CJ Miles, for example, him and I grew up together in Pleasant Grove. Never for one day would I thought CJ would have got drafted out of high school in 2005, and never would he have probably thought that I was going to be a sports agent. Right? We just were playing basketball together. We would lower the goals down so we could dunk on each other. It was just all like innocent fun back then. And before we knew it, like we were literally working together. He was playing for the Utah Jazz at the time. I had just graduated college, and that's how pretty much both of our careers started. So imagine that. us being 7, 8, 9 years old in the backyard playing basketball just happened to coincidentally meet each other. And then pretty much 10, 15 years later, we're working, making money together, and pretty much building up our careers. It's important to build relationships with everyone. It doesn't matter if you think they're not going to be of value to you right now. Eventually down the line, they're going to be of value to you. Another example I'll give you is I fought in college. I was an amateur boxer in college. So I fought for years, and I took a lot of beatings. Honestly, as much as I can fight, I wasn't a good boxer, but those 4 years taught me values inside the ring to help me become a man, but also my very first client was a guy that remembered me from amateur boxing before he even turned pro. He remembered my last fight. I got knocked out in 30 seconds, man. I think it's something that's probably on America's Funniest Videos or whatever. I got hit with a right hook that I didn't see coming, and that was my last fight. But the guy I ended up representing, the guy I made the most money with, the guy that's fought on TV, Showtime, HBO. We fought all over the world. We've been to Australia, we've been to Canada, Puerto Rico. We fought for world titles. That one guy saw me in the amateurs. We met a couple times, but never gotten cool, but he remembered me from the amateurs. So the one thing I really want to leave with you guys is remembering this. It's not really about what you know. I'm around a lot of smart people, a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people that are really prominent in what they do, but it's not about what you know in this industry. It's not about who you know in the industry. I'm around people all the time that tell me they know Jay-Z, they know Kanye, they know Dame Lillard, they know CJ, all people that I know, and it's like, I'll give you an example. What's your name, my man?
Cameron.
Cameron. If Cameron and I met, and Cameron was telling me that he was cool with CJ and that he can be a service to me and we can make a lot of money together, I don't know Cameron from a can of paint. I couldn't point him out of a lineup after I leave here, but what I'll do, I'll take his business card, and he told me that he was cool with C. I'll text CJ like, yo man, met Cameron today, he was real cool. What can you tell me about him? If I get a response from CJ like, yo, I don't know who Cameron is, never met him before in my life. From there, his credibility is in question because I can't identify with him, and the person that he told me that he knew doesn't know him. So, not saying what good is he to me, but we already got off on a bad foot. If CJ tells me, man, I know Cameron, Cameron's a good dude, you really need to get close to Cameron, he can help you out a lot. From there, our relationship really blooms. So it's most important that you guys to remember, it's about who knows you. That's what's gotten me far in business. I gave you 2 examples. One with CJ, one with Jerry Belmontes, to where 2 guys knew me. They knew of me. We got close at a young age to where once we got older, once we became adults, we went in business with one another and we started making money with one another based off of them knowing me from the beginning. So as you guys go forward, understand it's not about what you know. It's not about who you know. But most importantly, it's about who knows you. And it starts right now. You got one person in front of you and you had 2 other people before me that spoke that are going to be a service to you guys going forward. Make sure you build the relationship. Don't just see me now and then don't talk to me again for the next 5 or 6 years. May not remember you at that time. Keep in contact. Continuously send emails, even if it's just to check in to see how I'm doing or how business is going, or let me know what college you went to, or let me know that, hey, I graduated, man, and I'm looking to do this. Make sure you keep in contact with people. I wasn't the best student at Texas A&M in Corpus Christi. I won't tell anybody else this, and I hope you guys don't, but I barely graduated from college. I had a 2.1 GPA, which is horrible. I was a horrible student, but in regards to networking and meeting people, I go back to Corpus now, whether it be the mayor, whether it be a councilwoman or a councilman. We just had a press conference for Jerry Belmontes, who retired from the sport of boxing. They gave me the American Bank Center for free, based off of the relationship that I had built with those individuals while I was in college. I was hardly in class, but I was always working with people or networking with people to make sure that I can lean on those people 10, 20 years from now. So as you guys get ready for the next level of college, the hard thing about college is balancing not having, it's too much free time and then your parents are not there. I don't know how it was for you guys, but my parents were always on me growing up, making sure that I didn't get in trouble. So I still remember the day they dropped me off at college, man. Went in my dorm, I didn't have a roommate. So my parents had left, and I was sitting on the bed, and the door had closed. I'm kind of sitting there like, wait, they just 7 hours away from home. So I get up, I go open the door, and I look out to make sure my mom wasn't still there. I'm like, all right, she's not here. So I close the door, kind of go back in and sit down one more time. I'm like, wait, they're really not here. And they're not coming back anytime soon. And from there, the fun began. Although I had classes and things of that nature, you have an 8 a.m. class, but there was like a party every night when school first started. So although I had the 8 a.m. class, I would get in at 4, but I knew in my head, I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew that to get to where I wanted to get to, I had to finish school. So I may have stumbled in the dorm at 4 a.m., but I made sure I was up by 8 a.m. I probably went to sleep in class a lot of times, which is, again, I'm not bragging on it, but it's just some of the things you guys are going to go through in school. You're going to go out, you're going to have fun, you're going to meet people, but you guys all know right now, I talked to Cal outside, he had a plan, and then he had even a plan B if his plan A didn't work. That was really impressive to me because most people don't have that. They just have kind of an idea of what they want to do, but no plan B from there. It's going to be very important, especially in college. So many different distractions that you guys are going to have to make sure that the seed that you plant in your head of what you really want to do and how you want to get there, no matter how much fun that you're having, because I had a lot of fun in college, too much fun possibly, but I made sure that the seed that I planted in my head to make sure that by the time I graduated, I was walking into something. I kid you not, by the time I had graduated, man, I walked across stage knowing exactly what I was walking into. A week later, I was on the plane to Salt Lake City to work with CJ. So just understand that, again, it's not what you know, not who you know, but who knows you. But then also with college, so many distractions, so much fun, so many things to do, but to make sure that you're networking and meeting everybody, but then also keeping that seed in your head planted that you know where you want to get to after you're done with school. So I'm done as far as talking at you guys. I want to hear questions. I know you guys possibly have a lot, especially with what I do and how I got to where I'm at. But I want to hear from you guys before lunchtime starts. So especially you, Kyle, because I know you got questions about your post, Chris. I want to hear a couple questions from you. But
we got to just add one of the girls who was in our program last year is down in Corpus.
really?
She's down there this year.
So she goes to the university now?
Yep, she's at A&M. She's going down. She's a freshman this year.
Oh, great.
So she's
I
done.
bet she loves it. Right?
Well, you're right on the Gulf. I mean,
Right. It takes a drive. I mean, most people think, because the school, we call it the island, because
Yep.
the school sits on the island, but that's not the Gulf of Mexico. That's actually Corpus Christi Bay.
Bay, yeah.
If you go to that school, don't drink the water, don't get in the water, because it's horribly dirty. But Mustang Islands, the Gulf of Mexico, beautiful water, beautiful scenery. You'll enjoy it out there. If you guys don't have a college home yet, I would gladly recruit you guys to Texas A&M and Corpus. I had a blast there, but it's an amazing school. I hope she's enjoying it.
They all have LinkedIn accounts. That was one of the things. Their first week of school, when we were in here, first 2 weeks, that was one of the assignments they had. They all have set up their internship account for LinkedIn. So they all have that. And you've got LinkedIn, so they don't have to email you, they can LinkedIn with you, so.
Oh, great. No, it's an amazing tool. I mean, you and I connected on LinkedIn, but I've connected with so many CEOs or presidents of companies on LinkedIn. I mean, it's Facebook for professional people. You can actually get a hold of me better on LinkedIn than you can on Facebook. If you send me a message on Facebook, I probably won't read it or won't respond, but on LinkedIn, I would definitely respond to that. So if you guys are on LinkedIn, for sure, make sure you link with me, but also make sure you're on there connecting with people and just introducing yourselves in regards to what you want to do. Any questions from anybody?
Capper.
Yeah, I sure do. Where did your passion for boxing come along?
In the amateurs, man. When I was actually, take that back. My brother died in 2006, so now I'm the only child, but older brother. We used to fight all the time. Like, he was bigger than me, so of course, the easiest person to beat up at the time was me, so he always wanted to fight me and beat me up. But I learned how to fight, and I got better. And eventually, before he passed, there were a couple of times where we had fist fights, and I would beat him up. He was still big brother, but he wasn't the one with the best hands anymore. I was the one that had the best hands, but that's where the passion came from. And I still remember just at the funeral, I promised him that I was going to take care of mom and dad. We was going to be okay. I was going to make a name for myself. And that was in 2006. That's where it really started, because I went down to Corpus, and I found a boxing gym, and I was the only black person there, and I was the oldest person there, and they rolled me, man, but I had a blast, and that's where the passion came from, and I still help out that gym, and I still help out all the guys that come through that gym. It's a very, very low poverty-stricken area in Corpus Christi. All of my teammates were Hispanic, but all the guys that pretty much I used to take to school with me, I used to go pick them up in my car and take them to campus with me. Most of them didn't go to college, but just to give them that experience and then them give me a piece of their experience as far as boxing goes, that's where the passion started. So even to this day, as you can see with the smile on my face, Corpus, all started there, but the passion started with my brother and us fighting when we were growing up. It's a good question. So,
How exactly did you become like a sports agent?
when I was 24, I was actually one of the youngest in the National Basketball Players Association. So if you're going to represent NBA players, MLB players, hockey, anything with a union, with a sanctioned union, you have to be certified through the players union. So, and it's all about credentials, unless you went to law school. If you went to law school, it's usually easier, but they're really big on credentials. And at the time, when I applied, I was helping out CJ Miles. I was living with the NBA players, so that really got me certified. But then on top of that, I was helping out a professional boxer, so I'd already negotiated contracts. So although I was 24, and they usually don't certify guys that early, I had the credentials. I had the experience. So you have to, with those sanctions in boxing, there's no sanctions. So you can become an agent in boxing like that. But in regards to all of the associations or UFC, NBA, NFL, NHL, you have to be certified through their union to actually represent their guys. If they don't certify you, you're not an agent. So, good question.
What's it like working with Golden Boy? Like you're working with a promoter like with De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, who are like boxing icons. So how much do you?
Funny story. Before I wrote the book, Protect Yourself at All Times, I met Bernard Hopkins in Canada, and I told him about the book, and he flew down to Dallas. Actually, we had a private meeting together. But I love Bernard. I love Oscar, and it's funny. I watched those guys growing up, so it's like watching them, and then now I'm doing business with them to where I have the cell phone numbers, or I've been in private meetings with those guys. It's a little surreal, especially being so young, but they're first-class guys. Everything they said that they're going to do, they actually follow up and do it. So working with Golden Boy is a pleasure. I actually got a job offer from Rock Nation when they started their boxing division, and I was strongly thinking of selling AC Sports Management and taking the job at Rock Nation, but they gave me a tour of New York, and they showed me where I was possibly going to stay. It was so small. Like, first of all, I'm not staying here. And then I couldn't take my car, which I love my car, and I had to take the subway. It was just so weird. I thought, yo, I'm not living in New York. And the money that they were paying was good for Texas, not for New York. So I like working with Rock Nation, main events, Top Rank. I work with other promoters, but my favorite is Golden Boy because of Oscar and Bernard and the relationship that we've built. So I love working with them. I love working with anybody, even some of the NBA GMs. I like working with them and still talking to them, keeping the relationship open. So it's fun for now. Hard work, but fun.
I worked in New York for a year. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit smaller, a little bit less money. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, and then like I said, driving my car is big for me. I don't like someone else being in control, especially a subway system. So. And especially walking. I'm not walking anywhere in 10-degree weather. I don't have a winter coat. I went to Canada. It was -14, and I'm thinking, it shouldn't be that cold. I had a suit on, and once I got off the plane, that wind just hit me, and I'm like, yeah.
Right to the duty-free shop and get a jacket.
Yeah, I know, right? I didn't know, man. I said, being from Texas, they told me about a winter coat. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll be okay in the suit. But yeah, Canada in the winter is not a good look.
So coming out of South Dallas, coming out of Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
How can you relate in that and give them stories of overcoming adversity? You had a 2-parent family.
Yeah, but I mean.
And but you knew what you wanted to do, and you didn't let other things affect you.
Yeah, it's all around you. Like you can't, especially where I'm from. I mean, you can't run from the distractions. And I mean, it's not. I hate when people paint that picture of Like the drug, I mean, it happens, it's outside your door. I mean, people deal drugs anywhere, whether it be South Dallas or whether it be Highland Park or whatever. There's drug deals everywhere. It's just, you have to be a little bit more hard-nosed where I'm